Last episode, I briefly touched on a little strategy called the yes or yes close, and I got quite a few questions from listeners about how it works and how to actually apply it in sales, and a few people were a bit confused as to what it actually meant. So today, I'm going to break it down step by step, and by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to use this powerful sales tactic to close more deals, win more contracts, and confidently pitch your services. Let's start by looking at the common way people handle sales. If you're running a cleaning business, you might ask something like, would you like to go ahead with this service? It sounds harmless, right? But the problem is the question gives the prospect the chance to say no. And as humans, we're wired to default to no as a safe option, especially if we're unsure or not fully convinced yet. So here's the truth. Yes or no questions are often a trap that stalls momentum and kills your confidence. That's where the yes or yes close comes in. So what is the yes or yes close? Well, here's a quick breakdown. Instead of asking a question that can lead to no, you frame the conversation so the prospect chooses between two positive outcomes. Both options are a yes. For example, let's say you speak to a medical center about your cleaning services and you're ready to close. So instead of asking, would you like to go ahead with this quote? You say something like, would you prefer we start with a weekly plan or this more customized bi-weekly plan or fortnightly plan that has all of these inclusions as opposed to this one? Okay? You see the difference? Instead of allowing a no, you're offering two options that move the conversation forward. You're subtly leading the client toward making a decision without feeling pushed. So why does this work so well? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is the psychology of choice. People like to feel in control. And by offering two positive options, they still get to choose, which gives them ownership over the decision. And number two, avoiding overwhelm. Too many options can confuse people. Two clear positive options simplify the choice and speed up the decision-making process. And number three, build momentum. The yes or yes close keeps the conversation moving forward towards a positive outcome instead of stalling it with uncertainty. So let me share an example of this in action from my own experience. I was talking to a client recently about deep cleaning their gym. And instead of asking if they simply wanted to go ahead with the quote, I asked, would you prefer to start with option A or option B? And obviously they were different things that we had talked about, different time schedules, different prices, different inclusions. And so instead of just giving him the yes or no close, I offered him the yes or yes, which moved the conversation forward and had two positive outcomes rather than a positive and a negative. So they chose option A. We're starting with that after the new year. And that was just a cool example in real time of that working. And, why did it work? Because I positioned the options in a way that showed value and kept them focused on the solutions. So using one choice as an anchor is a really powerful strategy as well. And so this is an advanced tip that you can use to level up your yes or yes close. So you use one option as an anchor to draw attention to the other. And the other choice would be a much higher value choice. So for example, you can position a basic, less profitable plan next to a premium plan with more benefits. Let's say you offer option A, it's a weekly standard cleaning plan. And then option 2 is a premium weekly cleaning plan that includes regular, disinfection of stuff, dusting skirting boards, dusting door frames, lights, shades, fans, windows, what have you. Okay, and then you position the price in a way where it seems like a no-brainer to go for option 2 because it's jam-packed with so much more value, but little does the customer know you're actually making more profit per hour on option 2. And so naturally they're going to gravitate towards option 2 because it seems of higher value and it seems that they're getting a better price for what they're getting from it. So that's a way you can use it. And even if they don't go for that, they'll go for option A if it's more within their budget, if price is the main factor here. So that's why the yes or yes close is so powerful. It's giving the freedom of choice. It's moving it forward and giving two clear positive outcomes. And by presenting the standard option first, you set an anchor. This makes the premium option look like a far better deal, even though it may cost more. And prospects naturally gravitate to the higher value choice because it feels like they're getting significantly more for their money, like I said. So now let's get practical. Here's how you can apply the yes or yes close in your cleaning business today. So step 1, prepare two options in advance. If you don't already have a bunch of different services that you can juggle around and use to pose and propose different things to the customer, you want to make sure that both options are appealing and valuable. For example, would you like our weekly cleaning plan or would you prefer this detailed deluxe clean instead. And you would want to go through and add a bunch of inclusions to the more premium plan, adjust the pricing accordingly, make it look like more of a high value service than option one, the standard service, but also make sure the standard service is still profitable and valuable for you if a customer were to go ahead with it. Okay. Step 2, you want to lead with confidence. So deliver the options clearly and confidently. Prospects pick up on hesitation, so practice the wording ahead of time. Step 3, you want to use it at the right time. The yes or yes close works best when you've already built rapport, shown value, and addressed any major objections or concerns or questions. And another tip is you can use this technique for follow-up meetings. So, for example, would you prefer I stop by tomorrow morning to finalize the details, or would a quick phone call in the afternoon work better for you? Rather than, hey, is it okay if I pop by tomorrow? That's going to get you a yes or no answer. Or can I call you up later? They'll be like, oh, I'm busy later. Or, yes. Those are the only options that you have. It's either yes or no. So by saying, would you rather, or would you prefer, and offering them 2 positive actions on your end, then that gives them a way to move the conversation forward without killing all the momentum. So we've talked about the steps and the pros of all this and how you can use it to your advantage. Now let's look at 2 quick mistakes that you want to avoid when using this strategy, okay? So number 1, making one option too weak. If one option clearly feels less valuable, prospects might get suspicious or uneasy and pull away. Both options need to feel like a win, as I said earlier. Number 2, rushing the conversation. This is something that I see a lot. If you push too fast, this technique can feel manipulative. You need to build trust, provide value, answer questions, adhere to all their concerns, and figure out their pain points and get that conversation moving and provide that value before you ask the close. So there you have it. That is the yes or yes close. Hopefully that clears the air a little bit and makes a bit more sense. Hopefully I've broken that down and given it to you on a platter so you can use that in the business. This one tweak can make a massive difference in your sales conversations. It's simple, it's effective, and it positions you as the expert who's guiding your clients to the best solution. It's something that added a lot more revenue to my bottom line. It really propelled my business to new heights when I implemented this. Instead of just sending out the quote and asking, would you like to go ahead with that? I positioned it in a way where I said, would you prefer option 1, option 2, or option 3? And so I was giving the customer the freedom of choice and also using it in a way where I could anchor something to make the other option or other options look even more valuable, despite actually being more profitable for me on the back end. So that is the yes or yes close. Very, very powerful little thing. And you can add that to your sales arsenal. So yeah, we're coming to the end of the year now. Things are starting to ramp up just as we want to take a bit of time off and settle down for the year. I think that's the same for everyone. If you feel a bit overwhelmed towards the end of the year, even, no matter what time you're listening to this episode, if you just feel overwhelmed at any time and it feels like business is creeping up on you and there's this avalanche of leads coming through and all this work that you don't want to say no to, but you kind of have to because you just need a break. It does happen. It is a sign of growth. And so we do welcome that. But at the same time, you need to make sure you give yourself a break. So at that point of overwhelm, at that point of stress, and especially towards the end of the year, just give yourself a break and come back better, more energized and more refreshed and ready to take on the new year or the new month or whenever it is. So exciting times ahead. I've finally got a guest locked in for the podcast, I think. So hopefully next episode will be with Mrs. Muscle Cleaning. That'll be a really fun episode and there'll be lots of content there for you to listen to. So if the next episode isn't me and Mrs. Muscle, then we've both screwed you on that. So I'm putting that out there into the world to make sure it actually happens. And hopefully, I say hopefully, it goes ahead because we are two busy people. That's the thing. Everyone who's doing well is really busy, so it's hard to get a hold of them. But I endeavor to get more guests on the podcast because it's really fun to hear other people's stories and opinions and insights, because I am only one person and I can't really provide as much value as 100 other great minds if I can bring them into this ecosystem. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. That's the yes or yes close. Very, very cool sales strategy that you can use. please leave me a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. I would greatly appreciate that, and it will help other people find this podcast as well so that they can learn and grow with us. So with that being said, I will talk to you in the next episode.